Our journey begins in Calcutta, India. The year is 1922 and the country is in political turmoil. Srila Prabhupada, then known as Abhay Charan, is a young family man and manager of a pharmaceutical company.
Naren, we should go to this rally protesting the jailing of Gandhi by the British. 6 years for sedition? Outrageous! We could well be on the verge of a civil uprising.
Yes, of course. We'll be there. But Abhay, tonight there is a meeting with this powerful sadhu, Bhaktisiddhanta. You really must meet him. He's meant to be exceptional. I've heard so many wonderful things about him.
Oh no. I've seen too many sadhus. And quite frankly, none of them have impressed me.
No. This sadhu is different. He's a genuine holy man.
Naren, as a child, so many so-called sadhus, holy men, visited our home. Often 4 or 5 a day. My father was so kind and generous that he would let anyone come to our house who wore the saffron cloth. But as far as I could see, most of them were no more than beggars, more interested in filling their bellies than teaching any real spiritual knowledge. I'm sorry, Naren. I've seen so many sadhus, I just don't want to go.
But Bhaktisiddhanta is different. He's a true Vaishnava and a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His father was the renowned scholar and saint Vinod Thakur. One of Bhaktisiddhanta's sannyas disciples came to my home recently and we were all very impressed. He invited us to come and meet his guru. We're nearly there, Abhay. It's just a short walk from here. I beg you, please come and listen to him and tell us what you think.
All right. For you, because of our friendship, I will come.
Thank you, Abhay. This means so much to me. Let's go.
We are not these temporary material bodies. Here today, gone tomorrow. We are eternal spirit souls. We have always existed and we shall always exist. Never born, never die. Such a simple truth. Yes? May sound simple, but to realize it, to live it, to actually understand it, that's not so simple. Not so simple. Make sense? Good. Come, let's continue upstairs. This material world is not our real home. Here we are, strangers in a strange land. Our real home is in the spiritual world with Krishna. To return there, our eternal home, to take that journey, yes, that is the central purpose of our life. Prema Bhakti, pure unalloyed love of God, is the entry qualification. That is the conclusion of all Vedic scriptures. In fact, that is the conclusion of all the bona fide religious scriptures in the world. That is the essential meaning of life. Do you speak English?
Yes, Maharaj. I studied at Scottish Churches College.
You're an educated young man. Why don't you teach the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the English-speaking world?
But who will hear Chaitanya's message? We are a dependent country. First, India must be independent. how will we spread Indian culture when we are under the rule of the British?
This message is for all people in all places. It is far too important to wait for a change in politics. Whether one power rules today or another power rules tomorrow, these are temporary situations. Eternal reality is Krishna consciousness. And the real self is the spirit soul. Everyone is an eternal servant of God. When one identifies himself with this temporary body and regards the nation of his birth as worshipable, he comes under illusion. Only Bhagavat Dharma, performing one's duties to please the Supreme Lord, should remain. Always remember that. Always remember that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, Abhay, what is the impression? What do you think of him?
He is wonderful. The message of Lord Chaitanya is certainly in the hands of an expert person.
Ah, Jai, I'm so happy to hear that.
I'm struck with wonder. He is such a very nice, saintly person. Here is someone who can teach real spiritual knowledge. I was completely convinced by his arguments and mode of presentation. Of course, he was speaking to everyone, but he has found something within me. Immediately, in my heart, I accept him as my spiritual master. And his first words to me: take this Krishna consciousness and spread it all over the world.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna. The Supreme Personality of Godhead He came in this age not as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rather hiding his identity. He came as a devotee to teach us who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and how to become his devotee. And now we will see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's actual identity and his most wonderful gift to this world. Tabu kathamritam tapta jivan kobi bhiririta kalmasha tabu kathamritam tapta jivana kobi bhiririta kalmashapa tabu katham
At the age of 24, Sri Chaitanya left home and accepted the renounced order of life to facilitate his mission of spreading love of God. He relocated to the famous temple town of Jagannath Puri, where he immediately had a great impact. The famous scholar and head of the Jagannath temple, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, soon became a follower. Other powerful and influential personalities joined his association, and soon even the king of Orisha, Maharaj Prataparudra, became an ardent follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya daily visited the famous Jagannath temple, where the form of Lord Krishna as Jagannath, Lord of the universe, is worshipped. Inside the temple, he would dance and sing the holy names of Krishna in ecstatic sankirtan.
Prabhu tava padayuge mo nivedan.
Every year, Sri Chaitanya would participate in the famous Rath Yatra festival. For thousands of years, and even up to the present day, the Rath Yatra festival of Lord Jagannath is one of the largest religious festivals in the world, with millions attending the event. When Lord Chaitanya danced at the Rath Yatra festival, he demonstrated his process of Sankirtan chanting to the topmost degree. However, there was also an esoteric internal meaning to this dancing. Lord Chaitanya was tasting the ecstasy of love of God as experienced by Lord Krishna's topmost devotees in the spiritual world. While Europe was going through an intellectual renaissance, Sri Chaitanya and his followers sparked a spiritual renaissance in India that would reverberate throughout the subcontinent and eventually the world. To this day, Odishi and Puri specifically is home to fabulous architecture, music, cuisine, sculpture, textiles and dance. All of these arts were traditionally done as offerings to Lord Krishna. One of the most famous arts to originate from Puri is the Odishi dance form, which has been performed by the Deva Dasis in the temple as an offering to Lord Jagannath for thousands of years. In days gone by, the performances of the Deva Dasis were enacted strictly for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. No one was allowed to enter the temple while the dancers performed for their Lord. Tonight, we give you a very special glimpse into the traditional worship of the Lord inside the Jagannath temple by showing this ancient and esoteric Odishi dance form, performed for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath by the Natya Shakti dance troupe.
Karta
Krishna, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, worshipped by Lord Chaitanya. God has many names. Krishna, the all-attractive one, indicates the unequal charm and beauty of the Supreme Person as he appears to his dearmost devotees. Krishna is full with 6 opulences: beauty, fame, strength, knowledge, wealth, and renunciation. He's always decorated by peacock feathers, holding his flute, standing in a charming 3-fold position, and can be seen only by those whose eyes are anointed with the salve of love. Next, we are going to experience one of Krishna's loving pastimes with the gopis.
Once, the transcendental spaceman Narada Muni, sage among the demigods, visited Dwarka to see his worshipful Lord Sri Krishna. On arriving, he found the Lord to be suffering from a terrible headache. Narada inquired as to how the Lord's headache could be cured.
Narada, you know how much my devotees mean to me. It is only the dust from their feet placed on my forehead that can cure me.
Yes, my lord. I will leave at once, and I will bring this dust to you. You will have it by sunset today. I swear it.
Finding out that the Lord needed dust from his devotees' lotus feet, Narada first approached the Lord's queens of Dwarka, Rukmini and Satyabhama.
Placing the dust of one's feet on another's head is one of the greatest signs of disrespect. Krishna is our Lord. We worship him.
Satyabhama is right. Our love for Krishna is immense. But doing this would condemn us to an eternity in hell.
After being refused by the Lord's queens, Narada traveled to the heavenly planets.
Oh, great sage, by doing this, we're not giving ourselves to Krishna. We'd be giving ourselves to the depths of hell.
We may be demigods and worshipped by an unfathomable amount of followers, but we're not immune to the effects of sinful reaction.
Not finding devotees anywhere who would agree to place the dust of their feet on the head of their Lord, Narada Muni desperately approached the gopis of Vrindavan.
O Sadhu, you can travel anywhere in the universe as you so desire. Please, find him the finest physicians and heal him.
Oh, Rajarani, helping Krishna is the reason for my visit to Vrindavan. You see, it's only the dust from the feet of his purest devotees that when spread across his forehead will relieve his suffering.
But what kind of devotees are we?
We've performed no great austerities.
Yet nor are we in any positions of power. Still, if Krishna considers us his devotees, we will do anything to relieve his suffering.
Although the gopis of Vrindavan knew that they could go to hell for placing the dust from their feet on the head of the Lord, they didn't mind at all. The gopis were so selfless in their pure love for Krishna that they were not even slightly concerned about their own well-being. For Krishna's happiness, They were prepared to go to hell again and again.
We now return to the journey of Abhay Charan. In 1933, at the age of 37, he took formal initiation from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj. Shortly before departing from this mortal world in 1937, his spiritual master reaffirmed his initial instruction to take Krishna consciousness to the English-speaking world. While actively helping in the mission of his guru, Abhay began writing and publishing works in English, and in 1944 published the first of what was to become a monthly publication and an ISKCON icon, the Back to Godhead magazine. His writing skills had especially attracted the attention of Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, who said, "Whatever he writes, print." When his children grew up, Abhay entered Vanaprastha, retired life, and became more and more absorbed in devotional service. In due course of time, Abhay left family life and took up the renounced order of life, sannyas, and was given the name Bhaktivedanta Swami. He took up residence in Vrindavan, the holy land of Lord Krishna. Here he prepared himself to fulfill the instruction of his spiritual master. He studied, prayed, and translated the ancient Vedic scriptures into English with elaborate purports. All the while, the instruction of his spiritual master to deliver the message of Krishna to the English-speaking world was resounding in his heart. The day before departing for America, Bhaktivedanta Swami visited the Samadhi tomb of his spiritual master. He sought his blessings and prayed for the success of his mission to take Krishna consciousness to the world.
Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavang.
Read all about it. Read all about it in the Bengali news. Swami goes to America. Read all about it. Read all about it. Swami goes to America.
I will buy one of them.
Dhanyavad. Read all about it.
Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami, a resident of Vrindavan, has translated the Srimad Bhagavatam into English with word-for-word meaning and purpose. This great work will soon be appreciated by people from far off America. Hence he is departing from Calcutta for New York this Friday, the 13th of August, 1965. Cool, Balu. Yes, Balu. Very nice. Very nice.
For thousands of years, Krishna Bhakti had been known only in India. Now, for the first time, Bhaktivedanta Swami was leaving the shores of India and embarking on a transcendental journey to take Krishna consciousness to the rest of the world. As Bhaktivedanta Swami left behind his well-wishers on the dock and walked onto the gangplank to board the merchant ship Jaladuta, he was now all alone. There was no family, no friends, no supporters, nobody.
जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
तीना ती तीना धाते ते धाता ते ते धाते ते धाता ते 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 रे कीर्तन ते दाधे ते रे कीर्तन ते दाधे ते रे कीर्तन ते दाधे 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 ते दाधे दाधे ते दाधे दाधे ते दीना दी दीना तीना ती तीना
तव कर कमल वरे नखा अद्भुत श्रृंगार ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्ग केशवधृता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
दीना दी दीना तीना ती तीना तीन तीना तीन तीना कीटा 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 जैनाम ता कीटा तीन तीना कीटा ते जैनाम ता कीटा तीन तीना कीटा ते जैनाम ता कीटा तीन तीना कीटा ते दीना धी दीना तीना ती तीना
छलयसि विक्रमणे बलिमाधुत वामना पदनखनि रजनित जन पावना केशवधृत वामन रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे
दीना दी दीना तीना ती तीना ता दे तक तक दे तक ता दे ता 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 दे तक दे तक ता दे ta 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 day tak day tak day tak ta 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 day tak day tak takir tak hey takir tak hey takir tak hey takir tak hey chinam takir tak hey chinam takir tak hey chinam takir tak hey dida di dina tina ti tina
Tarasi dikshurane dikpatikamaniyam Dashamukhamoli balim ramaniyam Keshavadhita Rama Sharira Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Dina di dina tina ti tina dita 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 te digi 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 te dita 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 te digi 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 te tintina naktina tintina naktina naktina tintina naktina tintina naktina nak da de de da de de jainam ta kita taka dere kartaga jainam ta kita taka dere kartaga jainam ta kita taka dere kartaga gadina te kartaga gadina te dina di dina tina si tina
Vahasiva pushi vishadeva sanam jaladabham Halahati bhiti milita jamunabham Keshavadhrita haladhara rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Srila Prabhupada Pranadhana hai Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe
Siddhanta Sarasvati Sachisuta Priyati Krishna Sevaya Jara Dulatai Sei Semohanta Guru Jagatar Madhuru Krishna Bhakti Dei Tai Tai Taraicha Balavan Paschachete Tantan Samudra nada nadi sakale loy Krishna nam tahale ananda hoy tabe hoy divijoy Chaitanya kripati shai Maya dushta jata duki Jagate Savai Sukhi Vaishnava Richa Purnahoy Krishna Tava Punya Havavai Krishna Tava Punya Havavai E Punya Hori Bejaba Radharani Kushi Habe Ruvati Voli Tomatai Krishna Tava Punya Habe Vai Krishna Tava Punya Habe Vai Sekar Chaja Kodi Bade Agya Jadi Dilo More Jogyanahi Anidinahina Tai se tomara kripa Magite Chiano Rupa Ajinami Sabar Pravina Tomara se Shakti Pele Guru se Vayavasumile Jivana Sarthaga Jihoy Se Seva Paile Dahala Sukhi Hele Tabasanga Bhagyate Miloy Patitam prabhavahi kupe Kama bhikama manuya prapatam prasangat Kritvatma satsurashina bhagavan grihita Soham katam no visrichetava britya sevam Tumi morchira sadhi Buriya Maya Lati Kalyachi Jaman Jamantare Ajipurna Esu Joga Jadi Hoi Joga Yoga Tabe Paritu He Milimare Amito Maranitya Das Taikori Etash Tumi Bina Anya Gatinai Krishna Tava Punya Avevai Krishna Tava Punya Avevai Punya Kori Bejabe Radharani Kushi Habe Vati Volite Mai Krishna Tava Punya Habe Vai Krishna Tava Punya Habe Vai
It is September 17th, 1965. Finally, after 2 heart attacks and 35 days at sea, Srila Prabhupada arrives in America. Inside his suitcase is some religious books he has translated, a bag of cereal, some pots and pans for cooking his meals, a change of cloth, and 40 rupees. At 70 years old, he has crossed the ocean with so little, virtually nothing. But within his heart, the order of his spiritual master was shining bright like the sun.
Sports columnists, New York Daily News, telling you about the special welcome home to the Giants football team in this Sunday's News Colorado Magazine.
After arriving in New York in late 1965, Srila Prabhupada, virtually penniless, found refuge in the Bowery, the Skid Row of New York City, and for 6 months struggled alone. During this time he was subjected to a bitter New York winter, the theft of his meager belongings, and abuse from a drug-crazed roommate. Yet he was determined to bring about a spiritual revolution.
I came here in America in September 1965. My mission is to preach the philosophy of Lord Chaitanya, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Finally, in May of 1966, with the help of a few supporters, Srila Prabhupada was able to rent a storefront at 26 2nd Avenue on New York's Lower East Side. Just a few short weeks later, on July 13, 1966, Srila Prabhupada legally incorporated his International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Soon, Srila Prabhupada took the chanting of the mantra to the streets, as Lord Chaitanya had done 500 years earlier, performing the Western world's first recorded public kirtan in Tompkins Square Park on October 9, 1966.
One of the first Western people who took to Krishna consciousness, and this place called Mancho Skiffs, which was formerly a curio shop, was for rent. About that time, there was a document that Prabhupada produced. It was a document of the first incorporation of ISKCON. It was on the 13th of July, 1966, and I was one of the original signers of that document. The document included the 7 principles of the ISKCON Corporation, and I thought it wasn't such an important thing, so I just signed it kind of haphazardly, thinking it wasn't such an important thing. It turned out to be very important, and I still have a copy of it. Anyway, that was the situation in New York City, and that storefront gradually became something that looked very much like a temple, complete with incense and flower vases, and people wearing devotional clothes, men wearing dhotis and kurtas and shaving their heads, and women wearing saris. And there was always a lot of incense in the air, and musical instruments, and people chanting and dancing, and big signs of the Hare Krishna mantra reproduced with expert calligraphy. And then Srila Prabhupada used to, at that time, we also rented a small flat in the rear of that apartment building. And I had tickets to go to India. I was going to go and learn how to play Indian flute. And as I was walking out of Prabhupada's apartment one day with my back turned to him, I heard him say, just see if you can start a temple on the west coast of the United States. Because this was in New York and I was heading towards California where I was going to leave from. I didn't think very much of it because he kind of said it haphazardly and I had my back to him at the time. But as I was driving across country, this kept ringing in my ear, this thought. And by the time I got to the other coast, I was fully enthused about starting a temple in the San Francisco area. So I entered San Francisco, and when I entered San Francisco, there was kind of a scene going on. The people in the Haight-Ashbury area were people that wore flowers in their hair, and they roamed the streets in exotic-looking clothes, sometimes with their faces painted. And they really thought they were going to change the world. And this is what the situation was like when Prabhupada flew from New York to San Francisco. And we had arranged this event called the Mantra Rock Dance, featuring the Grateful Dead. So this was the situation Prabhupada flew into in San Francisco. And he was greeted by about 15 of these flower children who were all chanting Hare Krishna at that time, along with myself and Shamsundar and other people. And we drove Prabhupada to the storefront that we rented on Frederick Street in San Francisco, in the heart of the Haight-Ashbury. And every Sunday we would hold a Sunday feast and invite lots of people. Sometimes the temple had 40 or 50 people inside of it. And right in the backyard of the temple was a place that was known as Hippie Hill. And sometimes Prabhupada himself would come out, and we would even bring the deity of Jagannath out into that area, right at the base of a very famous place that was populated by hippies on Sundays. And a lot of them came back to the temple with us on Sundays to come to the Sunday feast. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
What's happening?
It's all happening, man. Groovy times. Whoa, last night I went to this Mantra Rock dance. It was far out! Funky!
Yeah, man. I was there too.
What? Oh.
It was such a blast. Like, whew. What a lineup, man. I mean, come on, that was the Grateful Dead, Moby Grape, Allen Ginsberg, and that Swami dude chanting that mantra. What a high, man.
Oh, yeah! He was cool! Cosmic! Whoa! Oh, yeah. And the word's out that the Krishnas who put on that gig, they're trying to raise funds for some temple down on Frederick Street. Whoa!
That's cool, man. That's cool. I heard that that Swami was meant to be coming to this park to chant today.
Today?
Today.
Awesome! Whoa! Hey, man. I think I can hear them chanting right now. Whoa!
Yeah. You know what this means. You know.
Yeah.
Let's get grooving.
Yeah! Woo!
Hare Krishna, Hare
very fortunate tonight to have with us as our guests some of the very early disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Shyama Sundar, you met Srila Prabhupada in 1967 and were instrumental in bringing Krishna consciousness to England. We've just seen the Hare Krishna mantra you recorded with the Beatles. Can you tell us how you were able to meet the most famous band in the world?
It was all Krishna's arrangement, and Srila Prabhupada's arrangement, although we didn't know it at the time. When Srila Prabhupada, he was just called the Swami then, Bhaktivedanta Swami, arrived in San Francisco in January of 1967, he instantly became our hero. And to me, he was the swashbuckling commander or captain of our small pirate crew. He told us that in our service to Krishna, we should be like him and chase the rhino. That means head for the biggest, try to perform the biggest services we could imagine for Krishna. That got Krishna's attention. So a kind of a competition arose among us, a small crew, to attract the Swami's attention. Do things that were so big that he would be, we could get his attention. So in those days there were 4 men called the Beatles. They had a band that we can't even imagine now the influence and importance they had in the world. Everyone was listening to every word they said. In February of 1967, they had gone to India with the Maharishi, and they were singing about Indian philosophy, Hindu philosophy in their records and in their songs. And in August of '67, George Harrison came to Haight-Ashbury, and it was a very big event when he walked down the streets of Haight-Ashbury. So the idea began to grow in us that we should try to go to England and see the Beatles, meet the Beatles ourselves, and convince them about Krishna. Prabhupada, the Swami had told us that whatever great men do, the common men will follow. That was his formula. And unknown to us, Krishna was making all this happen behind the scene. The Beatles had gotten hold of some of Prabhupada's, of the Swami's records, the record of the happening record of Hare Krishna mantra. And George was listening to it. We didn't know this, but George was listening to it over and over and over again. He was really wanted to meet us, but we didn't know this. To make a long story short, within 3 months, George Harrison walked through a crowded room of celebrities. Over 100 people were waiting to meet him. He saw me sitting in the corner of the room, and he walked through. All these people came to me and said, "Where have you been? I've been waiting to meet you." This was all Krishna's plan from the very beginning. And from the first time we met, we were close friends, just like brothers who hadn't met in a long time. We sat down and began talking like we knew each other. And within days, we were chanting in his home, and we had become good friends with all of the Beatles very quickly. It was Krishna's arrangement.
And Mukunda Maharaj, can you tell us how you came to record a hit single?
The recording with the Beatles took place in EMI Studios, Abbey Road. And one day we went there, and in about 4 or 5 minutes we recorded the Hare Krishna mantra, which charted to number 13, I think, something like that. And even people in the studio that were working as secretaries and pencil pushers and whatnot were part of that recording.
And Malati, you were a part of that too. After experiencing global success, Prabhupada returned to revive Krishna consciousness in India. You were in India during these times. Can you tell us about this?
Srila Prabhupada personally requested that we go to India to inaugurate the World Sankirtan Party. It was a dream he had, that he would bring his Western disciples back to India and revive their forgotten Krishna consciousness. We sent this letter out, an aerogram, and it was typewritten inviting us, and there was a list of 10 names. His signature was at the bottom, and then he wrote by his hand, number 11, Baby Saraswati. And we arrived in Mumbai, not knowing anybody, not knowing even where Srila Prabhupada was, not having any contact information. And we were standing kind of looking around what's next. There wasn't a normal airport as we now know it. And suddenly people came up and started putting garlands on us and taking us out of the airport, putting us in cars, and taking us to this beautiful home on Marineland Drive. And the next day, Srila Prabhupada arrived, and he immediately ordered us to go out on the street and perform Harinam Sankirtan. And it was a big event because at that time, the tourism industry had not developed. So Caucasian people, white folks, were not so much seen. And people would come up like this while we were chanting and take their finger and put it on our skin and then look at their finger to see if the white came off. And they hadn't seen Western folks, and they hadn't, of course, we were dressed in dhotis and saris, tilak, kuntimala, playing mridanga and kartals. And so it became headlines. And even though the people flocked to see us whenever there was an opportunity, they were slow to catch on to joining us. But that is all in the past, because as we can see now, there's been a Hare Krishna explosion even in India. But it was begun by the Western disciples. Srila Prabhupada called us his dancing white elephants.
Bhakti Charu Maharaj, just moving along the timeline a little bit here. Prabhupada's life was exemplary, but how was his leaving also an example to his disciples?
One of the most important aspects of Srila Prabhupada's teachings was how to die. That is, how to leave the body. Because if at the time of death one can remember Krishna, then he can become free from his material bondage and go back to the spiritual sky. So obviously this was one of the important aspects of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, and he always taught with his personal demonstration, personal examples. And Prabhupada actually left his body also in an exemplary way for all of us to see how to leave our bodies. And then finally when Srila Prabhupada decided to leave, then that morning actually we were told that Prabhupada was going to leave in 14 hours. At about 5 o'clock in the morning we got the message. And so those days we didn't really allow too many devotees to come to Prabhupada's room because Prabhupada needed that seclusion. But that time we just opened the door for everybody to come in. And so all the devotees, there were about 300 devotees in Vrindavan at the time, they all came and they started to chant. And I think that was the most beautiful kirtan I have ever heard. And the whole day just went on like that, from morning 5 o'clock, and at 7:14, one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, Srila Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, was just sitting at Prabhupada's head near the bed. And he pointed out to me, they see, he's still chanting. And at that time I could notice that Srila Prabhupada's lips, Prabhupada's tongue, was actually vibrating rhythmically. And this is how Srila Prabhupada left his body, chanting the holy name of the Lord, while all the devotees were chanting the holy name of the Lord. And this is how Srila Prabhupada actually showed us how we also should leave our bodies, remembering the Lord, being surrounded by the devotees who will remind us to remember Him and leave the body. And that's the way that we can achieve the ultimate perfection of our lives.
Malati, how would you summarize Srila Prabhupada's major achievements up until the time of his departure.
Beginning with the founding of ISKCON, which we are celebrating the 50th year of, and it marked the first time that a person from India, a Vaishnav, was training non-Indians in the arts and discipline of Vaishnavism. And he sent his followers out into the streets, into different cities all around the globe, establishing the Hare Krishna Mantra. It became a household word. He opened 108 temples. And during one period, a one-year period, 1970 to 1971, there were 32 temples established, meaning 3 a month were opened during that one-year period. He inaugurated the Rath Yatra festival, which is a next year, 50th year of Rath Yatras, the first one in July of '67. He introduced the high standard of Radha Krishna deity worship. He opened Govinda's, the first chain of vegetarian restaurants. He established Gurukulas to teach our children how to love God. He wrote approximately 70 books, translating them and giving these elaborate purports. And he said, "These are not my words, I'm simply repeating what Krishna is telling me." And he did all of this by sleeping very little, because all that time he was also preaching and traveling. In 1972, he established the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, BBT, in order to publish his books. And it became, by 1976, the largest publisher of religious books of philosophy from India. He circled the globe 14 times during his brief time with us, going to over 25 countries, and he brought the prediction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into reality, that my name will be chanted in every town and village. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ramai Maharaj, if I could just ask you, we've seen how many movements decline after the founder's departure. What happened to the movement after Srila Prabhupada left?
Well, I mean, Prabhupada was such an inspirational person and so enthusing. He travelled tirelessly, as we just heard, all over the world. We've got an interesting history here in Australia that Bali Mahadan, who was stationed in Tokyo with Saddam, he met an English couple who had just been holidaying here in Sydney, and they told him about Australia. So he got the idea, and he wrote to Prabhupada, I'm thinking to open a branch in Sydney, Australia. So Prabhupada immediately said yes, and he told him about Chidananda. He said, you immediately go there. So it was Bali Mahadan who first came here in late 69, early 70, and then Prabhupada himself came the next year in 71, and we were very lucky here in this country that every year after that, Prabhupada came here 6 times, pretty much every year, to enthuse us. And so he was such an inspirational person. I mean, he actually told us on many occasions that I may be here or I may be gone, but my teachings. And one time he said that I'm not interested in money or even temples, but my books, these teachings. This is the important thing. So because he was so inspirational, even though he left in 1977 and it was a very traumatic experience for his disciples, we were enthused by his example and his teachings and his books. And, you know, although we've had difficulties adjusting to life in Krishna consciousness without our founder, our guru, still I can report that the Krishna conscious movement has really expanded. Malati was talking about how Prabhupada founded the BBT. Well, yes, now we've distributed more than 500 million books all over the world in 87 languages since Prabhupada's time. And we have 600-700 centers all over the world, 200 vegetarian restaurants and 65 to 70 organic farms and eco-villages, and you know, and 9 to 10 million people visit our temples annually, and there's more than 100,000 initiated disciples distributed 3 billion free meals. So, you know, by the mercy of Prabhupada, by the inspiration of Prabhupada, we've been able to expand this Krishna conscious movement, and we're very thankful to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
To introduce to you the Triple R.
Thank you for your encouragement. It's interesting to see my younger self there on the screen. That was back in 1986 when I was a pupil at the Bhaktivedanta Swami Gurukula in Murwillumbah, New South Wales. Now we're going to introduce you to some current students of the Bhaktivedanta Swami Gurukula School in Murwillumbah. They're going to perform a song for you.
Govinda
So Hare Krishna, how do you like that for the new generation of ISKCON? Absolutely amazing. Such talented devotees. So the next equally talented devotees that are going to be performing, you may have heard of this group, it's called Bhakti Without Borders. And the thing with it is that it became so popular that it was actually nominated for a Grammy Award this year. Thank you very much. A warm welcome for Bhakti Without Borders.
Gauranga.
Nityananda Gauranga.
Nittai, 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 Nityananda.
Nittai, 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 Nityananda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda, Nityananda.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda, Nityananda.
Nityananda Gauranga. Nityananda Gauranga. Gauranga Nityananda. Gauranga Nityananda. Krishna Prema Vadayate. Krishna Ya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Vishe Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya. Krishna Prema Vadayate. Krishna Ya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Vishe Namaha. Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopal, Radhe Gopal.
Shri Radhe, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopal, Radhe Gopal.
Shri Krishna
to be here with all of you this evening. This significant event. Many, many years ago, I was doing street kirtan in front of the Opera House, and the police told us to move on. And I thought, one day we will be doing kirtan inside the Opera House. That day is today. That moment is now. And we are all so privileged to be part of it, celebrating this incredible journey, 50 years of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
All right, I want to hear you sing.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And one voice.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, H Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare